Hey, it's Lynn Brown. I'm a results coach. Well, let me put it to you like this. I'm a recovering people pleaser and a former world-class worrier. Y'all, I was literally trapped by the opinions of other people. And then one day, I just drew a line in the sand. I don't know if any of you have experienced what I'm talking about, but I just said no more. And it was that day that I just took one step in the direction of my dream. I had no clue, what the whole staircase looked like, but I just took one step. And boom, here I am. Now trust me, I'm not there yet, but I'm a heck of a lot farther down the field than I was. So I'm grateful. Maybe I'll write that in my journal in the morning, my gratitude journal. But a few years ago, I read a book that began to unlock the door of my heart. I never knew, honestly, that the trauma and grief had blocked the doorway. It was like a huge barricade. I mean, I had spent much of my life just trying desperately to fill in the gaps of my life. The cracks, the pits. I was just trying to make sense of like the brokenness and all my failures and heartaches. And I think oftentimes the first thing we do when tragedy hits or when we're covered in guilt and shame is to try as best we can just to fill in the gaps. It's almost like a normal, natural process. I mean, we just try to fix it. I think women are fixers anyway. But we try to fix it. We spend so much time, so much energy with the what ifs, the if onlys, if I had done this, or if I had done that, or if I hadn't done this. Y'all, the past has passed. We know. Yesterday ended last night. So about the book that I read, it was called Daring Greatly by Brené Brown. And y'all, I honestly devoured that book. I couldn't put it down. And I realized during that time that I was reading it that up until this point, I had never really dared greatly. Now, I had chickened out greatly, but I had never really dared greatly. Instead, I had just played small. I played, not to lose. I was just happy with second place. And I allowed that disappointment, I allowed the grief, the circumstances of my life to mess up my mindset. And when I say mess up my mindset, I am not just kidding you. It was more like it broke my mindset. But the interesting part was, I was raised in church. I'm a person of faith, and I knew all the Bible stories. I sang the songs. I mean, even in school, I memorized Psalm 23 and Psalm 100, and that was like in the 4th grade. I mean, I still know them, but I didn't believe it for me. And I think so often that the sadness we experience from whatever area of our life, whatever, if it's physical loss or loss of a loved one, grief manifests itself in so many different ways. It can cause anger and resentment. It can cause anxiety and fear and depression. And all those things were showing up in my life. But it was just who I was, and I thought that I was just wired that way. Now, you wouldn't have known that from the outside because I always had a smile on my face. But I want to bring you hope. Because somebody shared this with me, one of my coaches did, my mentor. And I wanted to share this tool that I've used in my life, honestly, for the last 3 years now. And it's honestly changed my whole perspective. It's my joy hack, and it's how I got my joy back. Now, I'm not saying that I don't experience hard things, because honestly, right now in our small community, we are going through a tragedy that hit last week. But making a conscious decision to harvest the good has changed everything, and that's what I want us to talk about today. I want us to think into this today. How do we harvest the good? When we see that life happens for us and not to us, it is then and only then, I believe, that we can harvest the good. Instead of me, I used to always say, why does this always happen to me? And when I changed that and realized it's not happening to me, it's happening for me, and I began to apply the lessons and harvest the good, I began to feel better. I began to get better results and to become better. Now, like I said, I'm not there. I don't think we're ever there. We're all work in progress. And as I mentioned, I'm a person of faith, so I now believe for me that I was created in the image of a perfect God. Not an average God, but one that equips us to become, to do, and to have all that we desire. You know, I'm a big, my thing is the gritty mindset. I mean, this is the Gritty Women's Podcast, and the G stands for gratitude. We are to be filled with gratitude. The R is for resilience. We've got to have that ability to bounce back and to press through and to persevere. The I is for inspiration. We want to be so on fire that we set the world on fire. Our minds have to be renewed. We have to constantly be thinking about what we're thinking about. We got to think tough, and most of all, we got to, in order for us, I really believe, to step into everything that we're created to be, we have to be okay with being who we are. So you do you. I heard a song today. One of my good friends, Bridget, sent it to me. I love the words. It says, I'm going to run. And it says, no, I'm going to fly. Say I won't. I just love that. Say I won't. Now what about you? If we had the time today, we could talk about and think into the hard things you've done before. You have done hard before. You have so many stories in your toolkit of resilience. So harvest the good. Harvest the good in those stories. Wherever you find yourself today, think about the hard places you've been before. Regardless of how it looks on the outside, regardless of the pain that you're experiencing today, it may, to the world, it may look hopeless. But we have a hope, a confident hope. We are overcomers. So whatever loss you're facing right now, I want you to just run toward it. Playing small is not going to serve you. It's not going to serve the world. So whatever the thing is, whatever has happened, whatever you're experiencing, you might have just come out of something, you might be going into something, you might be slap dab in the middle of something. But nothing is impossible. So you just keep pressing forward. Y'all, your perspective matters. It really does. It's your perspective changes things. You know, we have to persevere. We have to never quit. A few days ago, the owner of You're Worth It, it's a company that I'm involved in, and it's part of one of my values, which is walking in total health. So I had to up-level my health, and I did so by, after I discovered and heard about this product, which I'll go into another time. It's called ergothioneine, and it's an anti-inflammatory. Well, I had a heart attack, so I'm all about inflammation, reducing it. But I was being mentored by the owner, and I said to him, I'm not quitting. And now I wasn't talking about quitting the team or, quitting, my position or whatever. I wasn't talking about that, but I was just saying, I am not quitting on life. I am not selling out anymore. Because I believe that we are created for such a time as this. And you too. But what about you? What do you believe? And I think the better question is, what are you willing not to quit on? And yes, it's hard. I get it. It's hard. It's messy in the middle. But as my friend Brene Brown says, that's where the magic is. And isn't it so true? When we go through the hard times, we come out and we're so much bigger, better, faster, and stronger. So I'm slap dab in the messy middle right now. I'm just going to be honest to you. I'm on a mission walk to total health. And I'm on a mission to become all who I was created to be. To walk boldly, to run boldly toward who I am. There's a world out there desperately just yelling for help. And I believe with all my heart that you are a solution to somebody's problem. I believe I'm the solution to somebody's problem. And I literally just had to take my hand out of the potato chip bag. Now, why do I tell you this? I tell you this because I'm telling you it's not easy. And I'm having to break some habits. And whether your habit is a habit of just, just always going back to grief and to a place of sadness and in a place of regret, maybe it's time to change that habit, to change how you think it and how you see it and how you're living it out in your life, and choose a reset right now. Choose the redo. I mean, this morning, early on, I was running stairs. It was hot and it was hard, but it's what it's going to take. It's just what it's going to take, and I had to do it. When I'm realizing more and more as I'm even sharing about my health journey with people and telling them about this product, You're Worth It, Your Vitality, which I'm taking, and the sleep product that's helping me sleep at night, most people choose to settle for less. Most people will say, oh, I've heard of something like that before, or oh, I take a vitamin, or I eat apples. I eat an apple once a week, or something. Whatever it is, they're just settled. They're willing to settle. They don't want to do the hard thing. They just don't want to do the hard thing. And so, what about you? Are you willing to do the hard thing? Most people just accept what they are, whether it's a feeling of overwhelm, grief. They don't feel like they have choices. They don't think there's a way out. They believe the world. They believe that their circumstances control their joy. I mean, honestly, I could get frustrated right now because, honestly, summer snuck up on me again this year, and I wasn't really walking in, where I wanted to be. I did not lose a total 10 pounds yet. Now, that's just an example, but I could beat myself up. But instead, I chose to fight through on this one, and I'm making progress. I have lost some weight. So it takes a reset. Whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, what you say to yourself, it takes a reset. So wherever you are, just be there. Make the shift. Make it happen. And if you don't have enough belief on your own, borrow some of mine. Just borrow some of mine. Because I had to borrow the belief too when I first started. But now I have plenty. So I'll share mine with you. But Gritty Sister, you got this. You can do it. Show up and believe that you were created for more. You have the power within you to overcome, because you're an overcomer and you're a Gritty Sister. So that's all I have for you today. But I just really, this was just on my heart, and I just wanted to share it with you. And I just hope and pray that you go out and you begin to run toward the thing that maybe you've been avoiding. To break through the grief with gratitude and live the life that you were designed to live. Take care, and I'll see you soon.